If you've never tried a fad diet, are you even human? Fad diets are part of our culture because there's always a quick fix that we are constantly searching for. And these have been exploited in the media. We live in a society where this is what we want. We want instant gratification. So we're going to dive into the history of fad diets through the years and discuss some of the insane stuff that they did back in the day, as well as the hottest trends that are all the buzz today, not just in diets, but in weight loss in general. I'm joined by my three beautiful badass co-hosts, Camille, Linda, and Wendy. And guys, I'm gonna start this off with a quick little video that's giving a run through of some of these crazy fad diets through the years. Nico, hit it.
In ancient Greece, Hippocrates recommended a strict diet of exercise and vomiting for weight loss. William the Conqueror felt like he was a little too large to be in charge, so went on an all-alcohol diet to lose weight. Englishman William Banting allegedly started the first low-carb diet in the early 1860s. The tapeworm diet of the early 1900s included swallowing tapeworms in pill form, allowing them to eat the food for you and then make you sick to get it all out of your system. Fletcherism was another diet in the early 1900s that promoted chewing each mouthful 32 times or more, and was allegedly tried out by bigwigs like John D. Rockefeller and Mark Twain. In the 1920s, there was a big push for slimming soaps that would supposedly wash the fat away. Lucky Strike and other cigarette companies also jumped on the diet craze with ads like
remember this?
Yep. The grapefruit, aka the Hollywood diet, started in the 1930s and pushes for at least a half a grapefruit for every meal. The lemonade diet of the 1940s consisted of a mixture of lemon, maple syrup, cayenne pepper, and water that you're supposed to drink 6 times a day for 10 days. This is basically the cleanse diet you've probably seen some people do. The cabbage soup diet started in the 1950s and has made a comeback in recent years. You basically keep the fruits and veggies and are allowed to eat as much cabbage soup as you want. The Sleeping Beauty diet of the late 1960s consists of taking sedatives and sleeping so you don't eat too much. It's rumored that Elvis Presley
and then you don't wake up.
Yeah, you're just never awake.
The paleo diet was created in the 1970s, and although some argue that it's historically inaccurate, the main idea is to stay away from processed foods. Ironically, a meat milkshake, yes, a meat milkshake, known as the Last Chance diet, was taken off the shelves when it actually killed some of its customers. The most unfortunate name award goes to this appetite-suppressing candy that obviously did not stay around once the AIDS epidemic of the 1980s. The blood type diet gained a bit of steam in the 1990s when someone argued that your body's ability to break down food is based on your blood type. The 7-day color food diet of the early 2000s designates a color for each day of the week: white, red, green, orange, purple, yellow, and then on the 7th day, you do whatever. There are some Aussies who are kangatarians who survive solely on kangaroo meat and veggies. I obviously left a ton of fad and not so fatty diets off the list, but this graphic shows some of the more recent trends in modern dieting if you're interested.
Crazy, right?
Whoa.
Some of these I'd heard of, but some were like, I don't know. I was a little bit shocked, but
some of them are still around. Like like
they've kind of resurfaced.
They resurfaced.
Yeah. Right. So I want to know: have you guys tried any of these, or because let's be honest, sometimes in junior high, high school, we all of a sudden get that image. Oh, we got a diet. So we try things and not really understanding why we're doing it or the consistency factor. So, Wendy, let's start with you. What diets have you tried in the past before you learned that those things are just fads?
So I honestly, I've never tried a fad diet per se, but when I was a track athlete, I used to eat so many carbs because I didn't really understand the science behind carb loading just yet. I just thought carb loading was you just load on carbs. So like every night I would have like a big bowl of pasta. Before a big race, I'd have a bunch of pasta, and I wasn't really eating a lot of protein. So that wasn't really, I don't know if that's necessarily like a fad, universal fad, but
for runners, that's
what they say.
And I would read Runner's World magazines, and it was all about the carbs, and I wish I could go back in time and, you know, introduce a little bit more protein into my diet.
Yeah.
But honestly, I've never really tried like a typical fad diet.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
I know. I know. I guess I just never really bought into any fad diets.
Yeah.
You know?
Linda, what about you?
I think the closest is that cayenne pepper.
Oh yeah, that cleanse
Yeah,
type.
that cleanse.
You did
And
that?
I think that was after my first reign, and I didn't have a competition in front of me that helped me to maintain my diet, right? So I was like, oh, I got to try something different. And so I tried it, but I wasn't feeling that. So.
Yeah.
Really fast.
Yeah.
I have to ask you, did you ever have like the newbie problem after your first show where you ate whatever and you gained a bunch of weight? Like, did you ever deal with
absolutely.
that?
Okay.
So you are human.
Yeah.
I'm very human. Yeah, and you learn very quickly.
Yes, you do.
It doesn't work. And I probably, with that whole thing of I think I saw somewhere they said they throw up.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that relationship that we have with food and the types of diets that we're used to is so strict.
Yeah.
Sometimes for a second, that will cross your mind.
Oh, sure.
Oh, I ate something and you just feel really bad, but yeah.
Well, and that's what I think is tough, because a lot of these fad diets, they tell you, oh, you've got to diet, you got to be skinny, this is the only way. And so when people can't control their cravings, or they feel like they're eating too much, they turn to eating disorder styles. And that's not always good.
Yeah,
I can say I tried the cabbage soup diet in high school. My mom was doing it, and I thought, I love soup. And but then I was like, whoa, we can't eat anything else. I was like, I'm out. I can't do this. But the tapeworm, I did hear about that in college, and I thought, that is an amazing idea. I could eat whatever I want. Where do we buy these tapeworms? And I just have to eat the tapeworm?
Oh,
and then
God.
I thought about the
one that was one of the most repulsive ones, too.
I was like, but if the tapeworm eats my food, I'm good with that.
Okay.
I could have a little pet friendly in my belly, but
you're envisioning these little worms with little happy faces.
Totally,
These will be my friends.
thank you for the donuts.
The things we think of.
I know,
consider.
the way we rationalize it. What about you? Cabbage soup, any others?
So I've done the cabbage soup. It was disgusting. I've done, and this is all when I was in my 20s, when I was trying to get that wavy look, when that was in style.
The wavy look.
But liquid diet, grapefruit.
The liquid, the alcohol only?
No. The what?
The liquid diet was just drink alcohol.
I mean, there would be a fast, maybe like a juice fast or something. That's what I meant. And then the alcohol diet.
Hey,
there's a reason for this.
You didn't do it on purpose.
And then the cayenne, the cleanse. And there was a period where I tried to do zero fat, zero fat.
Oh, sure,
but I've tried a few of them.
Sadly, it's part of our culture, part of our history. Like I said, I feel like if you haven't tried something, you're probably not human. So you might be the one that's the least human. You didn't fall for any of the gimmicks.
I don't know. Nothing really appealed to me. You know what I mean? But
good.
To your point about triggering things, I feel like, first of all, when it comes to following a fad, we're trying to solve the issue of dieting is hard. You know? And really, anything works if you follow it. And so human behavior is a huge component of finding something that works for you, but it also can backfire if something triggers something that's internally wrong with you. And I think people get that backwards. I think people a lot of times they think that the diet they followed is what caused the eating disorder. But if you realize that something in you is already could be triggered by something. So finding the right thing for you, I think, is a matter of doing something that doesn't trigger you to a negative degree, but also that you feel like you can follow,
I found whenever I would follow some kind of fad diet, it didn't last long.
Yes.
Which is a good thing because they're pretty horrible. But I would obsess about everything else so much more. Whereas having a balanced diet is, you have all the nutrients that you need.
It's not causing anything else. Well, do you guys remember in 1992 the food pyramid diet? It came out, and this was a solution, implemented to try to help people understand how to eat better. So I have an exercise for these ladies.
Okay.
And I've created blank food pyramids for you guys.
Oh goodness.
And I want to see
colors on them, color coded.
if you guys can remember how it all lays out. So don't overthink it. In the meantime, I have a funny video that I want to, yep, go ahead. I want to show you guys. And while you do this, let's just entertain you guys while you are thinking about this. Go ahead, Nico.
My doctor's trying to give me, good ways to lose weight. She tells me I should eat organically, all right? So I go home, I don't know what that means. So I go home and I look it up, I Google that. And then when I was online, all right, I found a way better way to lose weight, okay? I did. So now I'm just crossing my fingers and like hoping that I could get like a parasite. Are you kidding? Like a tapeworm? Shut up. Oh my God. It's like a metabolism buddy. Are you kidding me? Seriously. You just sit there, they do all the work. I'm not joking. I have a friend who's a nurse and she went to Africa to do some nursing. When she was in Africa, she got a parasite. And now she can eat whatever she wants. Like, whatever she wants. Okay, she's gone now, but fuck, she looked good. I'm just kidding. I don't hang out with thin girls. Anyway.
But see, now that girl was speaking my language. She understood the thought of a tapeworm, but not that you should ever do that.
I think it's crossed many people's mind, like, that wouldn't be the worst thing that could happen.
I know, right?
Yeah.
I mean, yours is blank. Oh. You did not fill yours out? What the heck?
I got mine.
I know. And
I did it.
Done.
Okay, so.
Wendy's like so good. She's like, yeah, I'm used to cheaters.
I got it down. Well, we'll give you a little bit.
To me from school.
Yes.
We'll give you a little bit more time to finish. We're going to take a quick break. What do I do? But before you guys do anything, like, subscribe, comment, leave your details, your questions that you have for us below. We'll come back and hopefully Camille's done by then.
You diet down, train hard, and supplement smart for months. When the time comes to step on stage, don't leave your tan to chance. Go with the pros. Pro Tan. #1 worldwide since 1987 and the official sponsor of the Olympia for the last 15 years. Don't step on stage without it. Pro Tan.
All right, we're back and she's still working, so we're moving on. Okay.
Do me last.
Yes, there we go. So obviously the whole purpose of this exercise is the food pyramid was not the answer to everything, and it was heavily criticized because of the way they portioned out everything. Yeah. Now, there is, and we'll show you the graphic of how it actually works out. So I want you guys to grade yourselves, but the very bottom panel, so this is the way it looks. We'll show you a closer graphic, but the largest number, the percent, should be breads and grains. Woo! All right. Really? So give yourselves a point for that.
What do I? 1 point.
1 point. Yep. If you get it, you get 0. 1 point. So the second column is evenly fruits and vegetables. Did you guys get that?
I did.
Nope. So you only give yourselves a point. The next column, the second to the top, is half of that's protein, half of it's dairy.
Okay.
And then at the top there is fats. So.
Okay.
Score. What'd you get, Wendy?
4.
4 out. Okay. And what'd you get?
3.
Okay.
1.
This is a good thing.
And here's the best. Alcohol. So the girl who did the all-liquid diet, we see where Camille's head is. I love it.
It's a small portion of your, maybe.
Yeah, just that. This is the fun. This is the social life.
Yeah.
But this is obviously protein, we have now discovered, is such a bigger part of the equation.
Absolutely.
And it has now been changed. They now have a My Plate. So it's been modified slightly. But it's just interesting because this is what we do for a living. This is, we live and breathe nutrition. And still, I think because of the way that we are programmed in our heads, we know the correct way. The original 1992 food pyramid,
we clearly do not follow a food guide pyramid.
Yes. Which thank goodness we don't, because we might be large and in charge, so we don't want that.
Here's a bigger point that I want to make is that, you know, the diet culture is so unique, and not actually unique because there's a lot of things that are like this, but it's something that you have to basically find the information yourself. Because when information is given to us, there could be, and I mean, I know there's a lot of conspiracy theories around how the food guide pyramid came to be, but you know, there are some theories that, you know, the government was trying to, you know, help people with costs, because breads, grains, and rice was cheaper, and the food guide pyramid could possibly have been the result of ulterior motives. Now, this is a lot of things. We have to do our own due diligence and our own research to figure out what is healthy and what is right for us. And so that's how I think all of us have really figured out diet, by learning and understanding it on a deeper level. Clearly, we don't follow a food guide pyramid.
Right.
Clearly.
And it's more, like you said, you've got to figure out what works for you. What works for Wendy, Linda, myself, Camille could be totally different. So there's no one size fits all diet or weight loss plan.
Well, because bread, grains, that's not even on my radar.
Right?
Grains, rice, I'm like, oh no.
That's not
on
legumes and beans, like that, to us, that's in the carb category.
For sure.
But also the food pyramid is based on a 2,000 calorie diet. That's kind of like the average that it gives to everybody. So when I was in my 20s, I was, one typical 20-year-old who was not sure what they wanted to do, but I was studying to be a dietitian and went to San Jose State and was studying that dietetics there. But yes, this is all we studied was the food pyramid.
It's interesting. I'm just glad things have changed. Now, we've obviously talked about some of the crazy things back in the day. What are some of the current fad diets? Let's pull up an image and discuss some of these that are popular for our time. Now, some are things that maybe you guys are not like privy to, you don't want to even discuss, but from what is popular right now, we obviously have the low carb diets, Atkins, South Beach, the low fat, low carb, which is that zone diet that was really popular, celebrities. We have the extremely low fat from like the pasta diet, kind of what you were doing back in the day, all carb heavy.
All carbs.
We have the novelty, like the Beverly Hills diet, the junk food diet. I think those are always just created because people are trying to find a way to rationalize their insane behavior.
I was in my teens and I literally could eat whatever I wanted. That is not the case anymore.
Right. We talked about, the detox, the master clean. There's also like the liquid diets, the slim fast, the last chance, the very low calorie Cambridge rotation diet. Those pre-measured, like those meals, the Jenny Craig Nutrisystem, and then of course this high-fat, the keto type diet that's out right now. So these are all the current. Well, not all of them. I think there's just so many. But let's discuss some of these because obviously some that weren't on there. Gluten-free, very, very popular.
I've got to say something about gluten-free.
Yes,
to me it's like it can get so under my skin. When people are like, I'm gluten-free, I'm gluten-free. The chances of actually having a true gluten allergy is pretty low. But it's so trendy to say that I'm gluten-free, and then you'll go to like, they'll put the mom will put their whole family on a gluten-free diet, and that can actually cause more problems down the road because the kids have not built up.
Even more than that, not even more than that, but just as much as that, I feel like when people say gluten-free, they automatically assume that something's going to be healthy.
Yes.
And you can go to a coffee shop and there'll be a whole line of pastries and it'll say gluten-free and you have people thinking, I'm making a smart choice.
And it's 600 calories.
And fat and carbs without having gluten in the in the item that you're eating. So it's kind of misleading, I think, for a lot of people. You know?
Yeah, and at the end of the day, it's about calories. What you're saying, the recommended daily calories, 2,000 per day, and period, 1,500 to 2,000 calories. End of day, I don't care how you do it, what you eat, mostly protein, which, protein, carbs, whatever. At the end of the day, you have to know how many calories or kind of have an idea of how many calories that you're taking in. And if you're like, when people always say, I'm a vegetarian. I'm a vegan. Now it's different if you tell me you're a vegetarian or vegan and you've been doing it for a long period, but people think that if they switch to being a vegetarian or a vegan, that they're going to lose weight.
Or that the law of thermodynamics suddenly, has a break and
it's not.
The law of thermodynamics is very real.
And I think with us, when it comes to calories and what you see when you look at the calories, like we've learned, especially in competing, like the balance and knowing the percentage of complex carbohydrates, the percentage of protein, how much fat in that 2,000 calories. So we're not, it's not like we're just eating like all green, all fibrous, or all protein. It's like there's a balance, right? And that's how we sculpt. Like the physique.
And thinking of balance like that, if it fits your macros, the flexible diet, I am a firm believer in that. I love it because it does allow that balance. You have choices. For women, I feel like that was made for women. Guys can be straight cavemen and bro diet and eat the exact same thing. Women like options. However, there's got to be rules, and I don't think people fully understand the if it fits your macros. I had a client who loved the if it fits your macros. But all of her carbs came from marshmallows. And she was prepping for a show, and I thought, you need nutrient-dense carbs. And so she'd be so proud of herself. I hit my macros every day, gaining weight. I'm like, girlfriend, you gotta stop with these marshmallows. You can't have that as your sole carb source.
Well, the thing about like bodybuilding diets is that like we've always based it off of macros, proteins, fats, and carbs, but coming from foods that are gonna give you the best results. And I feel like when the if it fits your macros first came out, people were trying to manipulate that scientific system by utilizing other like things that are just not healthy. And I remember, when Instagram started blowing up, I remember this girl, she was getting really great results from if it fits your macros, and she would post her food, and she would post like chicken and broccoli and rice, and she'd like hashtag doing it for the bros, and I'm like, but you're getting results, right?
Right.
Do you remember when there was that rivalry between like bro diet and if it fits your macros, and people got feisty?
That was crazy.
So like let's just look at if you have 2,000 calories, two diets, a 2,000 calorie diet, and it's lard or Crisco or whatever, right? And you get to eat that one time, and it's 2,000 calories. And over here you have the option of 2,000 calories. You get to have some breakfast, some oatmeal, and you get to eat throughout the day. Well, there's a big difference. Now, this person may lose weight the same way that this person, but this person will feel great. They'll be much more productive. Whereas this person eating the 2,000 calories, their physique will look different. They may lose weight. They'll be miserable, health-wise.
Well, there's another thing to take into account. With more volume, it costs more energy for your body to break it down. So even though technically on paper, there's the calorie cost of even, taking the food in, absorbing the nutrients, breaking it down, all of that has a huge energy cost, So there's a lot more science that goes into it. Ultimately, it is calories in, calories out, but calories out could come from your body's own generated calorie consumption,
What are your thoughts on the whole thought now, the intuitive eating? That's kind of a buzz right now, where basically intuitive eating is just eating when you are feeling that need, that hunger, listening to your body cues. Have you guys ever done it?
Okay, this is my take on intuitive eating. I think it's a stupid word for just being normal.
Right?
Do we have to label everything? That's just how you should normally eat. If you're hungry, you eat. But I'm an intuitive dieter.
Exactly.
It's like that's so stupid.
I think the only way I would use the word intuitive is that like eating, like intuitively I know I'm full. I don't have to eat everything on my plate and then just push it away. And I think that's where people make the mistake because they're, I'm hungry, so let me eat. I'm on the intuitive diet.
But do you guys feel like it's a way that you could actually prep?
Okay, here's the thing about intuitive eating. I feel like when you first start trying to adopt healthy lifestyle behaviors, having structure is really key, because if you don't have structure and you like, let's say for example you do like intuitive or if it fits your macros, you're going to naturally choose things that you're already used to eating. If you normally eat bread and pasta and pizza, and all of a sudden you go if it fits your macros, you're going to try to figure out how to eat the things that you already. So having structure so that you could feel what healthy foods feel like, structured how much protein proteins, fats, and carbs with what foods, have a specific diet with specific recipes. Then once you gain a healthy relationship with those foods, you see how they feel, then you're more primed and ready to do intuitive eating in a healthy way, and you're going to naturally choose the foods that you remember make you feel good. You're connected to those foods at that point. You know what I mean?
I don't know if a competitor could really get ready for a show on intuitive eating, but I think the only time I think that would be appropriate, this is my opinion, is if someone maybe just has really bad relationships with food, there's a lot of emotional triggers, and they stress eat, and a doctor has to use this term to make it kind of register for them to be like, okay, I need to be aware. But I don't think a competitor.
Yeah, with trying to coach clients, you can't modify their diet plan. You can't advise them when it's intuitive eating. That's the truth.
The fewer variables that you have in an equation, the easier it is to solve the problem. If you're coaching somebody and they like throw like 100 variables at you, and you're trying to problem solve, there's no way. But if you have like 5 variables to work with, and you know exactly what they're eating, then you can problem solve easily.
And when you're competing and you're like in that like prep mode, prep mind, you don't know what you need.
Exactly.
That is true.
But we know what you need. So we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. Like, subscribe, comment, and we'll be back with the next segment. And we're back talking diet and weight loss trends. We're going to start out this segment with a video talking about some of the red flags. Wave that red flag.
Welcome back to the Survivorship Healthy Lifestyle Program. Today we're going to talk about fad diets. Whether it's keto, alkaline, or eating according to your blood type, it seems that everywhere you turn there's a new fad diet being promoted. Some of these diets are even promoted specifically to cancer patients and survivors. But keep in mind that while some diets might just be ineffective, some can actually be dangerous as well. Most fad diets will have you losing weight in the short term, and this can lead people to believe that they are successful in the long term. However, studies show that within 5 years, most people regain all of the weight they've lost on a diet, and up to 1/3 of people regain even more. So, how can you tell if a diet is just another fad or if it'll provide you some assistance in adopting a healthy lifestyle? Here are some red flags that will let you know that a diet is a fad diet. Fad diets often promote a quick fix, a weight loss of more than 1 to 2 pounds per week. They cut out maybe 1 or 2 full food groups, or label foods as good foods or bad foods, or make you feel guilty about eating certain foods. Fad diets might not encourage exercise, they might not have a long-term maintenance plan, and they might have you spending a lot of money on specific foods or supplements as well. The key here is if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Remember that science moves slowly, so beware of headlines that say something like a breakthrough or miracle or things like that. You want to make sure you're making your choices based on scientific evidence and not on things like testimonials.
And that's, I mean, the truth is, if it sounds too good to be true, it typically is. It usually always goes back to the very basics. Eating healthy, figuring out your body, and implementing exercise. But again, we kind of live in that society where we're constantly going, no, there's a new great thing, and I don't have to do anything, and I'll just look amazing.
They're all just recycled, you know, concepts, like the Atkins turned into the keto, turned into the, you know, the everything, it just makes its rounds, you know, and it re-ups itself. I remember when the Atkins diet was all the rage, and you look on shelves, you know, in the grocery store, and it would be like Atkins diet approved, and it'd be like a chocolate bar, it'd be like all these things, and you look, and I don't know if you guys have seen this or whatever, but there's all these weird sugars. Like, I don't understand, we didn't learn about this in graduate school, how allulose somehow doesn't count towards carbs. I don't understand the science behind these things, you know what I mean? Some of these sugars and some of these weird things that say there's no carbs, you know, no sugars, and you look and it says carbohydrates, 30 grams of carbs, or diet sodas, that have like 30 grams of carbs but 0 calories. How does this scientifically? I just don't understand.
Yeah.
What is it? Yeah.
Well, and it's not just diets. So there's so many other things that we focus on that are the weight loss fads and trends. So I thought it'd be interesting.
Very good.
I'm going to go through just a couple that are some of the popular ones on a raise of hands. So I'll just list them. I want you guys to be honest if you've ever done these. Okay, first one. Have you guys ever done the waist trainers?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're bodybuilders.
How about body wraps? All right. Weight loss supplements, pills. Okay. Detox teas. Yep. Okay. Sweatsuits. Acupuncture for weight loss.
No, but I want to try that.
Lotions like the cellulite creams. Okay, all right, so let's back it up. Let's start with the first one because I think that's interesting. I mean, viewers out there, comment if you've tried any of these, but I think we should be honest. Have we tried them? Yeah, we've always fallen for these gimmicks. Waist trainers. Did everyone raise their hand on that one?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay. Are you still for it, against it?
I really feel like when I would be like 6 weeks out from a show and I would wear a waist trainer, it really did help kind of shape a little bit, and it kept me a little bit tight. So I did see subtle results from that, but now that I'm not competing, there's no reason.
The one thing I will say though is it does create, if it's too tight or people sleep in it, I've had so many clients create. Yeah, because that's kind of how it came out initially.
Oh my God.
You don't take it off, and I thought, but it creates so many back problems, and especially for bikini girls, because they're always doing glutes, but even not even just sleeping in it, but just wearing it, it creates so many back problems. And there used to be that squeam belly. Did you ever remember that?
Yes.
You could see it on stage, and it's the squeam is so tight, it pushes that bulge. So they're on stage, and they get this weird bulge at the lower belly.
Stomach.
And so you got to be careful.
I think they'll still stick with those types of things because when you look at the wellness division and how tiny, so I think if you're in that division, but you don't have that super tiny, unusual waistline, maybe some of those ladies they feeling the pressure to try to do that. And we do know that Chinese, they used all types of, it was common to have really small feet. So the women would do things to their feet to wear a small size. And so the same with the waistline, and people are willing to do those types of things.
You have to be careful.
It's a the thing about bodybuilding is that it's because it's an aesthetic sport. A lot of times we try to atrophy the muscles that are
meant to be smaller.
The things that help us be functional, our functional muscles. So for a fitness competitor, you need your functional muscles. You know, as a track athlete, with the hip rotation, the torso rotation, I needed to have obliques. I needed to have my functional muscles. My lower back was critical for me to be able to run fast. And it's I think that because we just, unless you're doing fitness, we're just standing there. It is important, if you do atrophy those muscles, to do some, functional exercises too.
Yes, and don't have those
because
imbalances.
That is a huge issue. When you atrophy those muscles so much, you can become dysfunctional and have back problems and things like that. And sometimes maybe we take it a little bit too far.
I think gimmicks sometimes gimmicks are pretty good, and they serve a purpose, even with the fad diet or you wearing a waist trainer. I do think that they serve as long as to give you a start. In the beginning, sometimes you just feel better. If you're dieting and you're doing some of the right things, it kind of makes you feel better.
You have to have your diet and training have to be on point.
Yeah, it has to be in point.
I'll wear a neoprene wrap, just sometimes doing cardio, but I wear it loose just to help it. I use it as a reminder for me to pull my abs in, not to, I can't do the swim, I have lower back pain, so if I did that, I learned my own lesson, but I do wear the neoprene wraps because when I'm doing cardio, it's a way to do abs without doing abs. I don't want to grow my stomach out.
You know how it helped me wearing a waist trainer, during this period of my life?
Tell us, Miss Olivia.
That, you guys are compete now, you're current, you're on top of your game. For me, trying to hang out, I would say, okay, I'm going to pass out trophies on stage. So like, you know, I would wear a waist trainer just to And what it reminds me is like, Linda, you need to watch your diet because it's a killer. I'm up there, I'm overweight.
Can barely breathe.
I'm trying to shove things in and it's just not comfortable. And I've been in situations that it's not cute. So I'm like, Linda, like, you know, diet and watch your weight and so that when you are on stage, you won't, you know, and if you do wear it, you're not that uncomfortable. Sometimes you feel like you're going to pass out.
Yeah.
Like,
so I'm
like, I can't
have that.
That actually is the common running trend with all fad diets is that when you're trying to figure out what works, it's all about behavior. You know, what is most likely to help you with your behavior change, your behaviors, human behaviors throughout the day. And like waist trainers, a lot of people say that. They say that when they use it, it makes them think about their waist a little bit more. I think that's the thing with me too. I mean, I'll wear my waist trainer and it'll remind me to not, you know, like just let it hang out. And just like let it go. And I'll just be thinking about it, better posture, shoulders back, and I'm actually hold my tummy in while, you know, I'm wearing it.
So what about some of these others that you guys raised your hands on, from body wraps to weight loss supplements, detox teas? You guys got stories?
So a lot of these, one that stands out that I have tried is the acupuncture.
Oh yeah, okay.
Tell us about that.
So the acupuncture for it wasn't necessarily, the whole goal of it was to regulate cravings.
Ooh, okay.
So that's, I used to see acupuncturists regularly for just like many other things, sleep and a lot of things. But one of them, there are certain pressure points that can actually help relieve like a craving.
And you felt like it actually benefited?
I don't know if I did or
and
not,
sometimes it could be placebo.
It could be
if it works.
Hey, placebo sometimes works better than
works.
But especially if you're like, I would really use it when I would come off of a show and like my you know, my diet was all kind of just trying to get regulated, and I would be craving carb. You know that feeling when you're like done competing and you're just like feel like you're gonna go crazy. That's when I would really use it just to kind of help settle and like mute those cravings. And it did work a little bit.
Well, in terms of like the human behavior model, you know, you start without like realizing that a change needs to be made, and then you decide that you want to make a change, and then when you're preparing to make a change and you're taking action, it's like there are certain things that help you take that action. When you invest in a personal trainer, you invest in an online coach, sometimes that is almost like the placebo effect. You've decided, I've committed to this, and suddenly you get excited about your journey. Maybe you decide I'm gonna do this acupuncture and it's gonna help me with my cravings. Believing that could help you sometimes is enough to actually help you. You really truly believe something's gonna work. If you decide I'm gonna wake up tomorrow and you like start a plan and you're like, this is gonna work for me. It sometimes, whether it actually does or not, believing something's gonna work can be so powerful. You know, I really believe in that.
What about the cellulite creams, lotions?
Oh, we've all done
Does
that.
anyone? But has there been any that worked? I'm curious.
They make my skin red.
Well, I think that there was one that I would use called Beauty Bum. And it burned.
Does it make your bum beauty?
So it just burned, or
like you made your skin like super red.
See, that's what I feel like a lot of them do.
It made it super red, but like it would feel like
you're like, so this is working. So my stomach.
But see, that's what I wonder, if it's the mental aspect of being like, it's burning away.
But I really think it did, and part of this was, it's hard to tell because I would only use these things around prep.
Right. So when you're already dieting.
But I really do think that I would put it on my stomach and I would put it on my like glutes and legs. But I really think just like a little tiny surface, it would help kind of smooth some of that out.
Wow.
But the key is you have to diet.
Like
in order to see that. Like a person that's trying to lose weight and they're going and putting cream on, I'm like, oh no.
It's not working. What it boils down to is if it's reminding you to stay on point with your diet and get your exercise in, then it's not necessarily a bad thing, even if it's placebo. But moral of the story, if it's too good to be true, it most likely is. Do your research, and more importantly, make sure you're being safe. Health is of utmost importance. Yep. That's what we advocate here. But it's always fun to look back and go, what the heck were they thinking? Thank goodness we learned better. But that wraps up another episode of Femme Flex Friday. Like, subscribe, share, and comment. We want to hear from you guys. We'll see you next time.